Another week, another grooming allegation with a 20-page well, actually, in this case, the document is pretty short and straight to the point, so we'll be getting down to the resolution immediately. Recently, an Overwatch streamer known as Neuu, if that's how you pronounce his name, has been exposed for being a groomer, abuser, and general asshole. At 2 a.m., March 6, 2025, a Twitter user by the name of Volsi released a document giving insight into Neuu's and their relationship that had occurred in 2021 and ended in 2022. Due to the relationship, Volsi had further information on allegations levied against Neuu back through 2023 and 2024 from an individual that now goes by the name April. We don't have to retread that though, as per this document's own claims. At the time, the allegations had little credibility due to the lack of evidence. This document, however, seems to be a bit more grounded. Volsi starts this document by going into how she came to know Neuu, his behavior, and his alleged interactions with a 16-year-old girl who was named in this document as Housewife. Apparently, Volsi came to learn of Neuu's connection to Housewife when she discovered Neuu cheating on her with multiple girls, one of them being Housewife herself. Within this section of this document, she says, upon confronting Neuu about this, he would call Volsi insecure, belittle her, and accuse her of overreacting, made her believe that she was the problem. He would claim that these were just rumors, and due to the constant manipulation, she would question herself, then being too afraid to leave the relationship. Within this document, Volsi alleges that Neuu did in fact know that this person was 15 and provides this image to support her claim. In these texts, he acknowledges that he has done horrible stuff in the past, acknowledges that the person that he's talking to revealed the information, and points out that people now know Housewife was in fact 15. Volsi claims that upon coming to Neuu with this discovery, Neuu would get very angry and claimed he needed to continue talking to Housewife and keep doing what she wants or else be exposed by her. Here are some images provided for this claim that are very telling about Neuu's behavior. Here we have Volsi pointing out how Neuu could jeopardize his career because of this relationship he has with Housewife, with Neuu also acknowledging that the quote-unquote pedo shit hasn't been leaked. Here we have a Snapchat exchange that is alleged to be Housewife and Neuu, with Neuu claiming that he would leave someone in a heartbeat, but Housewife doesn't see him like that, following Housewife claiming she felt undervalued, which is very strange if this person actually is 15 or 16, depending on the time of these messages, considering she is pouring her emotions out to someone who is 20 years old. I'm not entirely sure how real this screenshot or exchange is, so I won't speculate on this further out of caution. I actually want to read this screenshot in particular because it's just so incredibly funny and paints such an insane character for this guy. So here we have Volsi complaining to Neuu about how he's always making excuses when it comes to leaving this individual. And she says, when it comes to like stopping talking to her, it's, I don't know how to leave. I can't just leave. And then Neuu replies with, you are so dumb. You know exactly why I'm trying to be on good terms with her. Now shut the fuck up and stop repeating the same shit every week. I'm fucking sick of it. Keep crying. Keep getting upset. I don't care since it's just crocodile tears. If you actually cared about me and weren't being selfish, you would understand why I have to do this. Grow the fuck up. It's insane to me that this guy is trying to make himself the victim in this situation. He's justifying trying to remain in an amicable relationship with a minor to avoid being exposed. It's infuriating to see. And he calls it crocodile tears and says that if she cared, she'd understand why he had to do this. This is incredibly manipulative behavior. But not just that, it's just an insane thing to try to justify. Ah yes, keep talking to a minor to avoid being exposed by said minor. Incredible work. It just goes to show what type of person this guy is. Here we have a screenshot that appears to show Neuu and Housewife being in contact with each other through a Discord server. Here we have Neuu still attempting to justify his behavior by saying of course he would try to prevent this from getting out. Here we have Neuu claiming that a person named Lusty wants to talk to Housewife to corroborate the pedo claim, and then points out how Housewife is tight-lipped and will defend Neuu. From my interpretation, this appears like Neuu is talking about another girl that might have dirt on him, but is nothing compared to the potential pedophilia allegations. Here's a brief exchange between Volsi and Neuu, where Volsi claims Neuu had folders of videos and photos of Housewife showering. I'm not entirely sure how credible this particular claim is though, so take that as you will. In this part of the document, to summarize, Volsi claims that in terms of abuse, anything physical would occur when he tried to take her phone away from her. He would wrestle her phone away from her. He would pull her neck when entering a room, and he would yell at her to get out. Forcibly removed her from his room by shoving her out, carrying her out, and apparently even dropped her one time due to her flailing, and she managed to hurt her back. Volsi also claims she was coerced and psychologically abused, and she says, quote unquote, he had taken me to the room at 4 a.m. and told me if I didn't engage in that action, he would give me the silent treatment. But if I did, he promised to touch and engage with me. I do not have screenshots or videos of everything as I lived with him and did not have my camera out at the ready. There's an image here that she attached to try to corroborate this particular coercion claim. This text is heavily redacted, but does also include claims that mention she saw someone's nudes in his deleted section. Volsi confronted the girl, but Neuu called her a psycho and made her delete the messages. Of course, this part right here is entirely he said, she said at the moment, so we don't actually know how valid it is, so take that as you will. Volsi also attached this image that shows her confronting Neuu about being grabbed by the neck. Notably, Neuu doesn't deny the problem, just says, "Get away from me." In this last image Volsi attached in this section, we see an interaction between them where Neuu acknowledges his wrongdoing in regards to talking to multiple girls. He keeps thinking about the issues between them and can only offer kindness in return for the rest of his life. Of course, this is not a direct admission of anything, but it does suggest there were some issues at hand if the image is real. There's a part of this document where Volsi alleges that Neuu had attempted to bribe her in an attempt to make her come to his defense and lie for him in terms of public allegations and in court. Here are images attached that allegedly show Neuu saying that he'd pay Volsi to defend him, offering $5K initially to avoid Volsi getting involved, saying that it's literally his life and that he'd rather lose quote-unquote a fuck ton of money instead of his life. Then after asking her to make a tweet, she says nobody would see it, which in turn Neuu raises the offer to $10K. Also, side note, to be clear, I will continue to say alleged and if they're real, just to play it safe. I don't mean to downplay the severity of the situation, but we will get into something big in a moment. Volsi continues to reinforce her claims by showing 5 more screenshots where Neuu continues to ask Volsi to defend or help him by replying to the allegations, which I don't need to show all 5 screenshots because they're kind of redundant. Neuu asks Volsi to delete DMs between herself and a third party in an attempt to salvage his reputation. Neuu continues to convince Volsi by saying that his life is in her hands and suggests that she deny the allegations, bringing up that pedo allegations came from an individual named Luca. Here, he asks if he were to pursue legal action, if she would help April, a person coming out against him, in which Neuu asks Lucy not to get involved because Neuu could go for legal action. In these last 3 screenshots, Neuu opens up by asking what exactly was disclosed about him so he knows if he needs to quote-unquote off himself. Obviously, implications of suicide here seeming like a guilt trip, which lines up with how he kept saying his life was in the balance and only Neuu could help him. And Volsi replies that she can't recall in detail, but did point out how many times she's been wronged. And in this last screenshot, it appears to be a callback to the hand-on-neck incident. Neuu starts by saying he didn't want to hurt her and apologizes to Volsi for choking her if she was actually choked, and he admits that he shouldn't have done it, then points out how he doesn't love Housewife, but felt the need to stay on good terms with her due to being scared. I'm assuming that this message was post-breakup. Now, that was the end of this document with pretty much everything tied together. In my opinion, this whole situation appears to be pretty damning. There are a few indirect admissions of guilt here and direct acknowledgments of the issues at hand. According to a now unretrievable video, the messages do appear to be real. However, I did not catch the video in time, so please take my words with your own due diligence. But a little something extra. Neuu did make a statement on Twitter where he does say, "Please support the victims, do not defend my actions or send harassment to them. I apologize to the people I've hurt and lied to. No one, including the content creators, knew this information. I lied to them when they came to me about it. I'll be stepping back permanently. I apologize to my fans and friends." So, even though I have been careful in reporting the situation thoroughly, he basically does own up to his actions in this tweet. So, it's a pretty open and shut case. That's pretty much all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Later.